I talked last time why I think donations not always what people think it is, but it's not that I'm against the whole concept of reusing things. I think it can be good. Personally, I kind of don't like to get things secondhand because I'm not exactly a germaphobe, but I do think about things like bed bugs and other issues. And yes, you can wash clothing, but I just kind of prefer to buy something new because it's going to last a little bit longer than a piece that's thrifted, unless the piece is just in really prime good condition. Those are my thoughts on that. And with the price point not being that different these days, if you know how to shop around and you buy things that last, I tend to err on the side of just buying new, buying things that you will wear like indefinitely. That's where I stand on it. But I was kind of thinking this would be a cool alternative to thrifting because I feel like thrifting is kind of centralized. It's kind of depersonalized, really. You're just going to a thrift store, but you know how some communities have those little libraries? And then it was kind of making me think about how back during World War II in Britain, women would get together and they'd have clothing swaps because there weren't as many materials at that time. So somebody would bring something that didn't really fit them anymore, whether they had gained weight or maybe they were pregnant or maybe they weren't pregnant anymore, or like it was a child's outfit, and you would bring something and then you would take something that fit. So that kind of made me start thinking, what if in communities, not only having little lending libraries, what if we also just had little spaces where people could set up, like they could put clothing and somebody could help organize it. I think this could be a really positive alternative to like Goodwill and thrift stores. I was kind of thinking about that, like a space where it would just be somewhere where everybody in the community could go, and maybe somebody could volunteer and help organize it. And if somebody took too much from it, who cares? Because I would assume if somebody took too much from it, maybe they needed it, okay? But the intention would be everybody would kind of be a custodian of this little, it'd be like a little lending library, but for clothes people didn't want to wear anymore. And let's say you brought some items, you could take an item. And I think that could be a cool alternative to thrifting, because lately I'm just becoming more like concerned with how people think thrifting is the answer to overconsumption, and I don't think it is. I think the answer to overconsumption is just we need to consume less. Minimalism is not the answer, because sometimes minimalism can drive up consumption too. So I just feel like if we want to think about more like sustainable ways we could help our community, you could have like a little clothing library, not a library, but just like a little clothing swap area. And that could be fun. I feel like it's something that everybody in the community could participate in again. And then instead of like a corporation just making a gross profit, or like throwing away things that might be good, or just like sending bad items overseas to countries and making it their problem, this could be a way for communities to kind of take charge and help each other. You know, I just feel like a lot of charity could begin in communities again, and instead of maybe charity, we could just get back to the idea of like being communities. That was just a thought I had. I thought, wouldn't that be cool? Like not a lending library for books, but a lending library for clothes, or just like a clothing swap area. And I don't know, I think that could be a good alternative to donating clothing to Goodwill and Salvation Army, in my opinion. What are your thoughts? Thanks for watching.